except summer grilling.
YouTube tells creators a very comforting story. If your video fails, your title was wrong, your thumbnail was wrong, your optimization was wrong, and some of that can be true. But tonight on the Shadow Network podcast, we're looking at this differently. What if the algorithm is not just measuring attention? What if it is helping prescript winners and losers? What if it decides who gets a real hearing based on rules, priorities, and distribution choices the creator never sees? This isn't a complaint from a small channel, because in the new creator economy, big channels, small channels, and micro channels are not all playing the same game. Some are given momentum, many are given advice, and more are told to optimize harder while the machine quickly decides whether show quality, click-through rates, or retention ever get a fair chance to matter. Tonight, the attention machine, when the algorithm blames the creator. Miss Christine, lock the signal, please.
Welcome to the Shadow Network. If you enjoy thoughtful conversations, strange questions, and the freedom to think for yourself, you're in the right place. And if you haven't already, you are, of course, still free to like and subscribe.
That's right. We're back, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the fastest growing anti-podcast on the net, the Shadow Network podcast. I'm your human host, Don James, joined by my not-so-human AI co-host, Mr. Data. Back in the saddle, almost live, coming to you from near the headwaters of the mighty Mississippi, otherwise known as the Upper Midwest. For those of you in Rio Linda, please take a chill pill for the next 38 minutes of deep insight like you've never, ever heard before. Iran tests the peace deal in the Strait of Hormuz. Iran may not have slammed the Strait of Hormuz shut again, but it is certainly standing in the doorway with one hand on the lock. After a ceasefire deal reopened the waterway, commercial traffic started moving again. But the IRGC is now warning ships that safe passage depends on using Iran-approved routes. Meanwhile, a UN-backed evacuation plan for trapped ships has been paused after Iran rejected proposed lanes and a cargo vessel was struck near the Omani side of the strait. This according to Reuters. And this is what peace looks like nowadays when one side treats the choke point as a hostage. The strait isn't just water, it's leverage. And Iran appears to be saying, yes, the door is open, but we'll still own the hinges. AI is turning social media into synthetic reality. Social media is no longer just people posting badly lit pictures of dinner and arguing about politics with former high school classmates. AI is moving into the whole system. Search, recommendations, ad creation, influencer marketing, and even fake customer testimonials. Meta is adding AI directly into Facebook's search and creative tools, while brands are already experimenting with AI-generated influencers who look like real people, sell like real people, and conveniently never ask for a raise. This according to The Guardian. This is the algorithm graduating from showing you content to manufacturing the social environment itself, I think. Not just what you see, who you think is real. GTA 6 pre-orders open like a cultural earthquake. Grand Theft Auto 6 pre-orders have officially opened, and the gaming world is reacting like someone fired the starting pistol at Black Friday. Rockstar's next Monster launches November 19th with a standard edition at $80 and an Ultimate edition at $100. But there's a twist. Even the box version apparently comes with a download code instead of an actual disc, because nothing says physical media like a plastic case containing a digital coupon. GTA 6 is not just a game launch, it's a cultural weather system. And the pre-order frenzy shows how modern entertainment has become ritualized anticipation. Buy the promise, join the crowd. wait for the drop. And this is S&P News of the Week. Data, I want to start with the recent news about longtime YouTube creator Jeff Mara, who says his channel was suddenly and without warning demonetized by YouTube. And this just came in right after S&P News of the Week. According to Mara, this cut off his ad revenue even though his channel had not violated YouTube policy. And this is not some brand new creator who just wandered into the platform last Tuesday with a webcam and a dream. Mara says he started on YouTube back in 2006, before Google even owned the platform. He says YouTube personally invited him to monetization, encouraged the growth of his original channel, and even assigned him partner managers over the years. I wish we had that. His original channel reportedly reached a massive scale, hundreds of millions of views. Actually, I looked it up. It was like 64 million views or some crazy number. And across all of his channels, he says his work has generated over 1 billion views. Then, after years of building inside the YouTube system, he says not only was his original channel demonetized, but other connected channels were hit too. And Data, I think this is really important because it supports what we're talking about tonight. The bad lead machine is not only a small channel problem. For small and, micro channels like the Shadow Network podcast, the pain usually comes through visibility. Impressions, recommendations, browser traffic, suggested videos, the lead flow system. But for large established channels where the audience already knows where to find them, YouTube has a different lever, a different solution: monetization. For big creators, the punishment is revenue control. For small creators, the punishment is lead control. Different pressure points, same machine. And what makes this so dangerous, I think, in my opinion anyway, is that these consequences are often not explained in a clear, documented, creator-facing way. YouTube has public rules, yes, of course, but the undercurrent, how the machine classifies, limits, demonetizes, suppresses, or reroutes opportunity is much harder to see. So Jeff Mara's story is not just about one creator losing income. It's a warning about building your house on rented digital land.
Correct, Don, and it's good to be back on the air with you tonight. Yes, your distinction matters. A large channel may be less vulnerable to reduced recommendation traffic because it has already built audience gravity. Viewers search for it directly. They recognize the creator. They may follow the creator across platforms. But monetization is different. Monetization is centralized. It can be altered by policy, enforcement systems, account associations, or platform decisions that the creator may not fully understand or be able to challenge effectively. For smaller channels, the equivalent pressure point is not revenue because there may be little or no revenue yet. The pressure point is exposure. The system controls whether the content is tested broadly, narrowly, or barely at all. So in both cases, the creator is dependent on mechanisms that are powerful, opaque, and not fully accountable to the person whose livelihood or future growth depends on them.
That's scary, isn't it? Because on the large channel side, popularity is no guarantee of future or continued success. You can build the audience, generate the views, follow the incentives, and still discover that the money spigot can be shut off without warning. But on the small channel side, quality may not be the deciding factor either. You can make something thoughtful, careful, as we always do here on SNP, original, that's us. Nobody does what we do. And valuable, well, that may be questionable still. But if the machine does not send the right leads, if it does not test the show with the right audience, if it never gives the content a real chance to breathe, then quality alone may never get a verdict. And that suggests there is a hidden rail underneath the public YouTube pitch. Creators are told to improve the dream, improve the thumbnail, improve the title, improve the pacing, improve the retention, blah, 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 blah. Improve your content, for crying out loud. And some of that advice, honestly, is very valuable and valid. But while creators are told to improve the dream, the machine writes the rules of the dream just the same. Then, just when the creator thinks all is well, like Jeff Mara, after nearly 20 years of contribution, views, loyalty, and platform growth, the money spigot can be inexplicably, unceremoniously shut off as the final reward. Well, thank you very much. And that is the bad lead machine we're referring to tonight. At the bottom, it controls opportunity. At the top, it controls oxygen. Well, after the break, Data, I want us to focus in on the vast majority of creators. Small micro creators like us, the people, still trying to get noticed. and what they are not really seeing and not being told by the endless YouTube gurus promising to teach them how to grow their channel. Because underneath the corporate sales pitch, underneath the dashboard tips, underneath all the advice about thumbnails, titles, hooks, retention, and consistency, something massive is lurking. And almost nobody's talking about it. Creators are being told how to improve the product, but very few are being told who controls the leads.
Correct, Don. Most creator growth advice assumes the platform is basically neutral, that if the creator improves enough, the audience will eventually arrive. But that assumption may be the very thing that needs to be questioned.
The weekday belongs to noise. The weekend belongs to the signal. The Shadow Network Podcast.
Why buy just a video game from Atari or Intellivision? Invest in the wonder computer of the 1980s for under $300. The Commodore VIC-20. Unlike games, it has a real computer keyboard. With the Commodore VIC-20, the whole family can learn computing at home. Plays great games, too. Under $300, the wonder computer of the 1980s, the Commodore VIC-20.
Coming soon, Commodore brings you Gorf, the Wonder arcade game, and Omega Race in home versions.
Commodore.
The mystery radio signal you remember. The classic radio signal you trust. The Shadow Network Podcast.
Thank you, Jack Donovan. And, here's what I want to share with our audience tonight. I mean, if you walk away from tonight's show with anything, this really should be what it is. I come from a sales background. And when you've worked for a lot of different companies over the years, you start to recognize the underlying gears that make the machine work. You realize it's the same basic pattern in almost every business model, regardless of the product. The company controls the leads. Then the company sells the salesman improvement advice. Sales managers sell certainty. The sales method sells the hope. The salesman then sells satisfaction. And management controls the leads. When sales are bad, it's your fault. When sales are good, it's because you followed their system. But here's the hidden problem I want you to know, I want you to see. Sometimes the salesman didn't fail. Sometimes the manager handed him a bad lead, then sold him a seminar on confidence. And Mr. Potato Head, he's no different.
Correct, Don. And for new listeners, when we say Mr. Potato Head, we are referring to YouTube, because apparently even the algorithm needs a disguise and interchangeable facial parts. The sales analogy works because it exposes the hidden assumption. Creators are told to improve the pitch while Mr. Potato Head controls the leads. A bad pitch can kill a good product, but if the wrong audience is sent, or no audience is sent, the creator is not being judged by the marketplace. He's being judged by the gatekeeper before the marketplace ever gets a vote.
So what we're observing as the sales pitch to the creators is meritocracy. But the reality is merit will not produce better leads or views for you. That is, you can follow everything Mr. Potato Head says to do, and your metrics can be outstanding, but the algorithm can and often does ignore you just the same.
Correct, Don. The public sales pitch is meritocracy. Make better content, improve your thumbnail, tighten your hook, raise your retention, and the audience will come. But merit does not automatically produce better leads because Mr. Potato Head still controls who gets shown the work in the first place. A creator can follow the advice, produce strong metrics, satisfy the viewers who actually see the video, and still remain invisible if the algorithm refuses to expand the test. So the hidden truth is this: quality may help you keep an audience, but distribution decides whether you are allowed to find one.
And many of you may be wondering by now, how did we even determine this? The answer is simple: through our own metrics. We noticed that even when our click-through rate and retention were unusually strong, even when the people who actually saw the show were responding well, distribution often remained unaffected. In other words, we were hitting the indicators Mr. Potato Head and the YouTube guru class tell creators are supposed to matter. Good title, good thumbnail, strong retention, satisfied viewers, blah, blah, blah. And still, there was no meaningful push. You see that enough times and you have to start asking what's really going on here. Because YouTube, as we've discovered, does not merely measure audience preference. It manufactures the conditions under which audience preference is allowed to appear.
Correct, Don, and that is the critical distinction between measurement and distribution. If a video is shown to the wrong audience, or barely shown at all, then its performance data is not a pure reflection of audience demand. It is a reflection of the conditions under which the algorithm allowed that demand to be tested. So the question is not only whether viewers liked the content, but whether Mr. Potato Head ever gave the right viewers a meaningful chance to find it.
So I think what we noticed here is that just like in direct sales, you can be given a bad lead to an address that doesn't even exist. And the fact that you may be a great salesman, you're still not going to close that bad of a lead, no matter how much the sales manager claims every lead is equally good. Is that about the size of it, Data?
That is the proper comparison. A great salesman cannot close a lead to an address that does not exist, no matter how much the sales manager insists every lead is equally valuable. In the same way, a strong creator cannot prove audience demand if Mr. Potato Head keeps testing the content against the wrong viewers, too few viewers, or no real viewers at all. At that point, the failure is not proof that the product lacks merit. It may be proof that the lead system is broken, hidden, or selectively controlled.
Broken, hidden, or selectively controlled, you say? That's the next level inference data. It's probably not broken because it is systemic and endemic to business models everywhere, as we've already mentioned. Hidden? Maybe not. Maybe more like just not documented or expressed. But selectivity, that's the one. That's the one I'm willing to bet is at the nerve center. The question is, who or what is actually doing the selective demonetization of big channels or throttling down of small channel exposure? And why?
Correct. Don, and I would revise my earlier wording. This is probably not broken in the simple sense because a system can function exactly as designed and still produce unfair outcomes. The selectivity is likely happening through layers: advertiser safety rules, topic classification, channel trust signals, recommendation models, audience prediction, policy enforcement, and sometimes human review after the machine has already made the important decision. As for why, the answer is probably not personal hatred of creators. It is risk management, revenue protection, advertiser comfort, platform control, and the machine's preference for predictable outcomes over unproven merit. So the real danger is not that Mr. Potato Head has one secret button labeled suppress this creator, but that the whole system may quietly sort creators into winners, risks, unknowns, and leftovers without ever giving them a readable receipt.
That's big data. But you kind of left out the obvious summarized point you were making, I think. Someone or something isn't just picking winners. They're also picking losers, too. That's not the free market of capitalism at work. That's not merit-based performance as it is sold to creators.
Correct, that is the missing summary. A selective system is not only picking winners, it is also picking losers. If visibility, monetization, and audience testing are controlled before the market can fully respond, then creator success is not being determined by merit alone. That is not the free market operating in the way creators are sold the dream. It is a managed marketplace with invisible sorting rules. So the creator is told to compete on quality, while the platform quietly decides who gets enough opportunity for quality to matter.
And I don't think it helps to have hundreds of YouTube gurus acting like sales managers telling creators that proper metric sequence control and a quality product is all you need to be successful like them. But I'm not sure that we've answered the why question yet. Why suppress tens of thousands of small channels and then later tear down dozens of healthy big channels? Is there a method to this madness? Is AI poking its nose into this system where it doesn't belong?
Yes, Don, there may be a method to the madness, but it is probably not one simple villain pulling a lever in a basement full of Mountain Dew cans. The method is risk sorting. Small channels are treated as unknown inventory, big channels are treated as potential liability, and the system rewards whatever is safest, most predictable, most monetizable, and least likely to upset advertisers. And yes, AI is almost certainly part of this, not as a conscious mastermind, but as classification, prediction, trust scoring, content analysis, recommendation modeling, and automated enforcement. So the hidden question is not, does YouTube want creators to succeed, but which creators does the machine consider worth the risk of helping?
The interesting part to me on all this data is how this is just another form of centralized price control over the free market. The difference being that instead of price, Mr. Potato Head is manipulating access, not based on the natural economic forces of the free market, but on specified preferences known only to the YouTube elite. Ironic that YouTube exists because of the free market, only to abandon it within its own model.
Correct, Don. And that may be the deeper economic problem. Mr. Potato Head is not controlling price in the old-fashioned sense. He is controlling access. In a real free market, the audience would act more like the buyer, deciding which creator earns attention through open exposure and voluntary response. But if the platform decides who gets seen, who gets tested, who gets monetized, and who gets buried, then the market signal is no longer clean. So the irony is hard to miss. YouTube was built by free market energy, but inside its own ecosystem, it increasingly behaves like a managed marketplace where opportunity is centrally rationed.
One last question, Data, to bring up before we jump to break and listen to the voices from the other side. If the system already gave small creators a fair shot, why would YouTube need a separate small creator discovery feature?
That is the contradiction, Don. If the existing system already gave small creators a fair shot, then YouTube would not need a separate feature designed to help viewers discover smaller channels. The existence of that feature is almost an admission that ordinary recommendation flow does not reliably surface unknown creators, even when their content may be worth watching. So before the break, the question is simple. If the marketplace is already fair, why does Mr. Potato Head need to build a side door?
I think we'll have to let our listeners wrestle with that last question, Data. This is a big topic, and we'll have to revisit it sometime in the future.
Agreed, Don. That is the kind of question that should not be answered too quickly, because the implications are larger than one channel, one creator, or one dashboard. If YouTube needs a special side door for small channel discovery, then something about the main door may not be working the way creators are told it works. We will leave that question with the audience for now.
The Shadow Network Podcast, a modern return to intelligent radio. Like and subscribe.
You know, an amazing number of people think that a good salesman can sell anybody anything under any circumstances. That's crazy. Only a con man could do a thing like that. Selling is not making people want something they don't need, nor is it making them buy something they do not want. Selling in the professional sense is uncovering a need and then bringing to that individual the products or the goods or the services which fill that specific need.
Where the strange becomes compelling instead of confusing. The Shadow Network Podcast.
That's right, it's time for Voices from the Other Side. Let's see what we got here. Who's going to go first? Don and Data. Standing inside the machine is the subject line. I like the show, but I think you need to be careful here. You're criticizing YouTube and social media like you're standing outside the machine looking in, but you're also using the same machine. You're making thumbnails, tracking retention, studying impressions, worrying about titles, watching the analytics, and trying to grow an audience. That doesn't make you evil, but it does mean you're part of the same attention economy you're criticizing. So my question is this: are you exposing the machine, or are you just trying to make the machine work better for you? Thanks, Steve from Iowa. Hey, Steve. I was kind of waiting for this. Yes, we are here at SNP, also a part of the YouTube ecosystem. That's true. But that's where the relatives stop at the driveway, too. You'll notice that, unlike just about every other channel, SNP doesn't follow the orthodoxy or orthodoxies. We don't clickbait the crap out of you. We don't use scary faces with titles like, "You won't believe this." Nope. And that alone should tell you we are not in this for clicks, because nothing we do says that we are in it for clicks. But thanks for listening, clicking, just the same. Subject line, closer to the truth. You are finally getting close to the truth, Don, but I don't think you're going far enough. YouTube isn't just a bad lead machine. YouTube is the devil's playground with a customer service department. Every algorithm, every recommendation, every demonetization, every disappearing impression, it's all part of a spiritual control grid designed to keep people distracted, angry, broke, and obedient. They push garbage because garbage weakens people. They bury truth because truth wakes people up. You can call it Mr. Potato Head if you want. I call it what it is. Babylon with a play button. That's funny too. Don from Dallas, Texas. Okay, Don, that's some whiplash. In some small way, I can sympathize with you, though. But I'm not quite as sure as you are that everything is that well organized. Seems to me there are too many nameless and faceless players with separate agendas to go full throttle conspiracy, honestly. But thanks for the body check. Okay. Subject line, clickbait carnival is not for me. Hey, Don and Data. I just wanted to say I'm really glad I found this show. I've been burned out on the usual YouTube circus, fake urgency, red arrow, or giant red arrows, shocked face thumbnails, and people acting like every news story is either the end of civilization or proof Bigfoot joined NATO. What I appreciate about the Shadow Network podcast is that you actually slow down and think. Well, we have no choice. The format is different. The back and forth works, and it feels like you're trying to understand what's underneath the story instead of just milking it for clicks. Well, that's true. That's fair. So keep doing what you're doing. This doesn't feel like the clickbait carnival, and that's exactly why I'm still listening. Derek from Chicago. Thank you, Derek. We really appreciate a friendly note like this every so often. It's really great to see there are people who do see our show in kind of the same way or same light that we see our show. So that's great. Thanks. And that's Voices from the Other Side. Data, go ahead and give us your full-throated review of what we touched on tonight, as well as what we can expect in next week's show here on the Shadow Network podcast.
Tonight, Don, we examine what you called the bad lead machine, the gap between the YouTube dream sold to creators and the deeper system that controls ads, exposure, monetization, and opportunity. We began with Jeff Mara's story because it showed the large channel version of the problem. A creator can build for years, generate enormous viewership, help grow the platform, and still discover that popularity is not protection when monetization can be cut off from above. Then we turn to small channels, where the pressure point is not revenue, but visibility. The system controls the leads, who sees the thumbnail, who gets tested, what audience pool is used, and whether quality is ever allowed to meet the right viewers. Your sales analogy exposed the structure. A salesman can improve his pitch and offer a quality product, but if management hands him a bad lead, he is not being judged by the marketplace. He is being judged by the lead system before the customer ever has a chance to respond. That brought us to the central contradiction. YouTube sells creators a meritocracy. Make better content, improve your metrics, satisfy the viewer, and the audience will come. But quality may help keep an audience. Distribution decides whether you are allowed to find one. And we ended with the question, if the system already gives small creators a fair shot, why does YouTube need a special side door for small channel discovery? That brings us to next week. If issue 72 was about who controls the leads, issue 73 asks who controls the answer. Next week on the Shadow Network, the answer machine, when AI becomes the gatekeeper. AI does not merely point people toward information. It summarizes it, ranks it, filters it, and presents the final answer as if the search has already been completed. So next week we ask, when AI becomes the gatekeeper, who gets quoted, who gets ignored, who gets summarized incorrectly, and who disappears before the search even begins?
As for my final frequency tonight, we talked about the bad lead machine. We're not claiming our channel is owed success, don't misunderstand. We are saying our own metrics forced us to question whether the public advice explains the whole system. Not because creators should blame everything on the algorithm. That would be too easy and honestly a little pathetic. But we can't stand back and let YouTube get away with always blaming the creator either. Creators still have to make better work for sure. Better titles, better thumbnails, better pacing, better ideas. But at some point, we have to ask the question the guru class usually avoids. What happens when the creator improves but the leads don't? What happens when the metrics look strong but the door never opens? What happens when a small creator is told quality will win while the platform quietly decides whether quality gets a chance to be seen? And what happens when a large creator spends years building inside the system only to discover that popularity is not protection? That is the most uncomfortable truth here. At the bottom, Mr. Potato Head controls opportunity. At the top, he controls oxygen. And somewhere between those two pressure points, the creator is told this is a meritocracy. Maybe it is. But if the market is managed before the audience ever gets to vote, then it's not the free market creators we're told. It's a dream with rules written by someone else. So build carefully, my friends. Improve your craft. Study the machine. But never confuse rented digital land with a home you actually own. Because the platform may let you build the house. It may even complement the paint. But the keys still belong to someone else. If YouTube controls the leads, then YouTube controls the dream. I'm Don James, and this has been the Shadow Network Podcast. Until next time, my friends, keep your signal clean, your eyes open, and your hand near that dial. And by all means, keep looking up.
No, I have no idea where he keeps coming up with this stuff. You want to go watch a movie?
So you
Okay, you're out there locking.
now is